Hey everyone, it's Nico, and I'm finally back with another episode of my Hidden Indies series where I showcase games that you most likely have never heard of before. These aren't going to be games that are going to set your world on fire. They're always fun games. A lot of the time, they're done by solo developers that don't have a publisher or a big marketing budget, and therefore have a really hard time of finding an audience. So, my goal with this series has always been to share these games with you and hopefully convince at least a few of you to purchase them or potentially just find something that you're genuinely going to enjoy. All of the games in this video at the time of recording are exclusive to PC and Steam. None of these games are currently coming to a console. But if you want to check out any of these games further, make sure to check the pinned comment below, as I'll have links to each and every one of them. So I apologize that it's been so long since I've done one of these episodes. I've been so busy reviewing all of the releases leading up into the holidays, and then so far, even in early 2025, there's been so many good games coming out. But these are a bunch of games that were sent to me that I just don't have the time to cover otherwise, or in some cases, they're games that are not really for me, but I see the appeal and think they're good for those of you that are fans of that particular genre, because all of these games are fairly niche. They have a very particular audience. So I hope that you enjoy this showcase of these indie games, and if you do decide to pick any of these up, please let me know in the comments below which game or games you decided to pick up or wish list. That way I can use this information to kind of adjust which games I cover in these episodes in the future. So with all that said, thanks for watching. Now let's get to the first game. The first one I have here is called Super Puzzle Blasters. And this is a Choo-Choo Rocket style puzzle game that is totally not the type of game that I usually play. I'm not a huge puzzle game fan, but this one, from the 10 to 15 minutes or so that I played of it, I think is pretty cool. Now, it's obviously inspired by Choo-Choo Rocket, and it does seem to have some other elements from games like Zelda, for example, the 2D Zeldas, where you might have to bomb an obstacle, or there's teleporters, or there's various things that you have to interact with in order to reach the goal. I'm not going to attempt to explain how the game works if you're not familiar with Choo-Choo Rocket, because genuinely, I am not an expert. I did dabble only a little bit in Choo-Choo Mimic, which is actually a indie game released about a year or two ago by John Riggs, so shout out to John Riggs. I played that one on Evercade, and even that one, which was pretty cool and much more simplistic than this. Like, I only played a little bit of it, and then I moved on. I'm not a huge puzzle game fan, but if you like Choo-Choo Rocket and that style of puzzle game, this one's got a lot going on for it. There are over 40 unique puzzle levels, there is local multiplayer, there are different modes, there's unlocks, it does have controller support, and there's just a bunch of things going on here. So the little bit of time that I spent with it, I did enjoy it. I'm not a puzzle game person, so I won't play more of it, but I did want to at least mention it. So if you're a fan of puzzle games, check out Super Puzzle Blasters. Then the second game I have here was one that dropped in my email box, and at first I was like, okay, the concept sounds cool, the game looks okay, and then I played it, and I had a blast with this. So if you're a fan of Arkanoid or Breakout, and you like that recent trend of a game being a roguelite as well, then Rogue Bricks is going to be one for you. I played about 15 minutes or so of this one as well, and did one full run. And at first, the game has that familiar brick-breaking gameplay, but it starts to get really chaotic. And you'll level up by earning XP from the blocks you're breaking. You can also collect coins, and there's a shop. There's different upgrades to acquire. And you'll also have some permanent progression, so at the end of your run, you're going to earn some coins, and you can use these to unlock new ships and buff your stats in various ways. This is one of those games that I think is going to be really addicting, and I'm probably going to play more of this. I didn't want to do a full review, because this is one that I'll probably just dabble in here and there for fun, but if you like roguelites, and you're a fan of block breakers, this is one that's actually way better than I thought it would be by just looking at it. So looks can definitely be deceiving. The third game I've got here is another retro-inspired title, and this one's called Lilac 0. And it's a shoot 'em up that plays like an arcade style shoot 'em up. It has that same view angle where, you know, the sides of the screen are cut off. It's like you're genuinely playing it on an arcade machine. This one's pretty difficult. I wouldn't say I'm the best at shoot 'em ups, but I also wouldn't say I'm the worst. There are some unlocks that you'll acquire, like you can earn an extra credit or two, and there's another ship you can unlock, or character I should say. This has both melee aspects to it as well as shoot 'em up aspects to it, and using these two things and mixing them together to eliminate the enemies on the screen is really important. And I think that part of it is what I didn't really grasp very well, is when I should dash through enemies, and which is basically your melee, and eliminate them that way versus just shooting them. This is a tricky one. It does have a few different difficulty levels, but this is a really fun shoot 'em up that I'm glad I had the chance to try, and another one that I could see myself coming back to, because this was pretty fun. So this was Lilac 0. So this next game here, which is called Magenta Horizon Neverending Harvest, I considered just not covering it all because I felt like I'm not really going to do it justice since I only played 15 to 20 minutes of it. And this one is chaotic. If you like fast-paced 2D action with platforming elements, this one is like that on crack. Like, it has such an in-depth tutorial and there is so much going on. The combat, from what I played, is really fun. And I know that there's bosses and there's upgrades and things that you're going to acquire in this. And I didn't earn any of that from the short sample that I played. But this one is for those of you that like hack and slash games and beat 'em ups and just like Ninja Gaiden on crack. Because that's exactly what it was. It's divided up into individual levels, like, so think the NES era of Ninja Gaiden levels, you know, 1-1, 1-2, and 2-1, 2-2, and so on. It has that level structure. It did have different difficulties. I played on the middle one, which felt pretty nice, but this one was like really cool. And the reviews for it on Steam, now granted there's not a ton of them, are really positive. So I think this is a really cool one. I'm sorry that I'm only showing a little bit of it and probably not doing it justice for just how varied it actually is, but I just wanted to cover it, so here it is. And if you're interested to see more of it for yourself, this goes for all the other games as well. Again, just check the pinned comment below. And the fifth and final game on this list, it's actually been out for a while now. This came back all the way back in July of 2024, and this is Valley Peaks. This game has the esteemed honor of being, I think, the only cozy game I've ever played. They both made my hands sweat and also frustrated me, because this is a cozy game, sure, but it actually has a decent level of challenge, especially if you're a completionist. because each of the mountains you're going to climb in this, they do have separate routes. So if you're just looking to beat the game, you could always take the easy path, but it also has hard paths, and those are really challenging. Even some of the easy paths could be a bit tricky, and if you make one mistake, a lot of the time you're going to plummet all the way back down to the bottom of the mountain. Have to climb it all over again, because each one has a beacon on the top that you have to activate. This is cozy in its presentation and its charm. There's also some side quests and mini games and activities and things you can do, but this is a game that just didn't quite find its audience, and it's unfortunate because it's really fun and charming. It has really good music too. I really enjoyed this soundtrack here. It's completely unique, and I've never played any game like it before. I'm not saying that there aren't any other climbing games like this that are also cozy and have elements of parkour and upgrades and, you know, some collectathon aspects to it as well. But Valley Peaks is a really, really enjoyable game. And if you like cozy games and you appreciate a challenge, this one will be right up your alley. But like I said, just be prepared to have your hands sweat a little bit and maybe also get frustrated at times, because I don't enjoy replaying large chunks of like any game, and falling from the top of the mountain just to have to sweat it all the way back up near the top again just to try again could be a bit frustrating. But Valley Peaks is definitely a fun one. I recommend it if you like what I described here. So that's it, everyone. That's all 5 games I have to showcase in this episode of Hidden Indies. Again, these are only available on Steam, unfortunately. Each game was a different style, a different genre, so hopefully you enjoyed what I showcased here. If you did, please give the video a like. It definitely helps me out. If you haven't done so already, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Also, if you've never seen any of my Hidden Indies videos, I do have a playlist up on the channel, so you can get quickly up to speed on all of the ones I've covered in the past. As always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.